Comment? Come on up. And give your name to the clerk for the record.
Keith Breckling, 443 River Styx Road. I'm looking down the ordinances here, and on number 4, it doesn't necessarily say what it pertains to, and I just wanted to
The introduction.
That's the sewer rate.
That's the sewer rate.
sewer rate?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
More public? One, come on up.
I have some
Your
question.
name, please.
David Harris, 125 Buchanan Avenue in Hopatcong. I had some questions about the animal control. And we have, I noticed on the second page there's a September animal control report. Where is this available?
We'll give it to you. If you request it, we'll give it to you. It's a lot of paper, so we don't print it off.
Okay.
But if you request it, you certainly can.
When could I pick it up? Oh,
Tomorrow.
okay, thank you. Couple of questions. A couple of years ago, the animal control officer we had was husky, and it looked like he could handle a deer or a big animal. I noticed now we have an animal control officer who's a petite young woman, and I was just wondering, how is the person hired for this position? It seems like it's a rough job.
Okay, let me see if I can answer that delicacy.
No, so
She has a cell phone.
So she's required to have certain training, she's required to have certain license to serve as an animal control officer, and I would suggest that in all the reports I read, there's probably no handling of deers or larger animals.
Snakes?
We did a snake.
She's quite capable. to take
Yeah,
care of a
she
snake.
did a snake.
It's actually really inappropriate to think that because she's a woman, she couldn't take care of these things.
No, it's not
Yeah.
a woman.
No, that's what you're saying. It's inappropriate. She's
Okay.
qualified.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. I'm looking at weight too. You know.
We're not going to hire somebody based upon weight. Move on.
Okay. What is required for the town to accept a cat or a dog? I mean, are there any requirements? Do they have to be native to Hopatcong, or they can, or if they're are they wandering around, or how do you accept animals? I mean, you know.
So the animal control. So there isn't like admission criteria. The animal control officer encounters situations where a dog is lost, stray, abandoned. Same with a cat, injured, sick, and the animal control officer makes the decision that for the benefit of the public and the benefit of the animal needs to be taken in. And then from there, a whole series of decisions are made about whether we keep it. Maybe there's an owner who claims it, maybe it needs treatment, etc.
Okay. And she captures the dog or the cat or whatever it is and puts it in the truck.
Yes.
And brings it to the town.
Sure does.
Okay. Right. And the animal control officer, is that a full-time job or part-time?
It's
Full-time? Sure. And from what I gather, she's an officer under the supervision of the chief of police?
Correct.
Okay. One other question I had is, the court system. Do we have a certain amount of money that's in the budget that we expect to get from court fines and from payment for public defenders and other auxiliary charges that the court imposes?
Yes.
How much is that?
I have my CFO.
I don't have my
It
budget.
depends on how many bad guys we get.
And is the judge under any pressure to to reach a certain level?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. The
Okay.
courts operate under the court system, and they're under the supervision of the Superior Court of the State of New Jersey, not us.
Okay,
The Superior Court makes the rules. Am I wrong, John?
The legislature sets the ranges for fines.
Yeah.
Some of those fines stay here in the borough, some of those fines get paid to the state, some of the court costs stay here in the borough.
Right, because I read a couple of years ago that the judge was taken off the bench because he geared a lot of the fines to the municipality rather than giving it to the state.
Yeah, I think in that case, that he was actually violating the statute saying where the money was supposed to go.
Yeah, he seemed like he was under influence to give it to the town rather than giving it to the state.
I'm quite positive that our judge is supposed to follow the statute.
Okay, thank you.
More public? Come on up.
Holiday Drive at Hopatcong. It's been good work that they're doing on the streets. However, if anybody pulls out of Florida, starts to go up Stanhope Road, they miss the corner. There's a drop off and then you come up and you hang your bumper up on the car, on the blacktop. Somebody's gotta go in there and take a look at that. I saw it yesterday.
That's going towards Stanhope?
Huh?
Going towards Stanhope?
Yeah, when you come out of Flora, you make the right to go to Stanhope, that, the corner. There's a lot of loose blacktop where they dropped it and there's no transition there, it's just a big curve.
That's where the county came. They put that new road in. Blacktop, that was the county blacktop.
Yeah, well, they didn't match up with Flora. They didn't match up with Flora.
We'll give the county engineer a call and let them know that we have
Yeah.
a concern.
You know,
Thank you. Thank you. More public? Hearing none?
Move to bring it back.
Second.
Come on up.
That one?
Welcome.
What's up, everybody? Everybody knows me. William.
Give the name to your
I
report.
just did.
I'm sorry.
Q,
Q Ewing?
Q, William, W-I-L-L-I-A-N-S.
Thank you.
All right, so I hear that there is a bill or ordinance or something that you guys are considering passing in regards to the Airbnb, as far as insurance.
Yeah.
All right, are you guys aware that the limits that you're requiring are not possible on a standard homeowners insurance policy? It's $1 million liability, yeah?
I'm not familiar with the current issue.
Okay, well, the limits that you're requiring are not available on a standard homeowners policy, and there are carriers in the state of New Jersey who will cover insurance for Airbnbs and the rentals and whatnot. But the limits that you're requiring are ridiculous. They're not even available anywhere. Anybody aware of that? Anybody do any research on the limits of liability and what policies would be available for the rentals of the Airbnbs? No?
Well, we're getting aware of it now then.
Oh, okay,
So,
good.
which
I'm
is.
glad I could help out.
You know about just overall, like umbrella liability?
No, not an umbrella policy. An umbrella policy doesn't cover Airbnbs at all. Personal liability is what you're requiring as far as the limits, and those limits are not available on a standard homeowners insurance policy, which is an HO3 form in the state of New Jersey. It's not available. So basically, you're asking for something that doesn't exist.
Why wouldn't you get a commercial landlord policy?
It doesn't exist.
I'm pretty sure landlord policies.
Landlord policies exist, but the standards that you're requiring do not exist in the state of New Jersey. That would be a DP3. That would be the form, or DP1 or DP2. There is no endorsement for Airbnb for that amount of liability. The maximum is $500,000. You want to know how I know? Ask me how I know.
He's an insurance agent, we understand that, Q.
Which
So-
You sure you
which
don't
is
wanna
good.
ask me how I know? You look like you
So-
might wanna ask me how I know.
Well, I think.
You sure?
So. No, we didn't. You're very informative with that, so, maybe we should,
What you're asking, what he's referring to as far as commercial policy would be that an individual required to get a commercial policy, right? As an individual in the state of New Jersey, right? You can get $1 million liability, $2 million liability in a commercial policy. But that reduces the coverage for the homeowner. It's a different form altogether. If you want the form, I can make it.
so what would you suggest?
What I'm saying is there are limits that you can request, right? You can request that the homeowner have the endorsement there are carriers that offer that endorsement specifically for Airbnb. It shows the language on the policy. It is $500,000. Now, as far as umbrella policies, like I said, they don't cover Airbnb. It's not something that happens when they come out with that product. I'll first let you know. The maximum amount you can require is $500,000, unless the Airbnb owner goes directly through Airbnb, but even that is restricted. There are restrictions to that, and I don't have them with me to lay them all out for you, but that liability is restricted. And what you guys are looking for is just not available. $1 million is not available. $500,000 is the standard coverage.
Have you read the entirety of the ordinance that we're
I did.
proposing? Okay. Can you help us rewrite that section?
I
Because
can.
you know a lot
I can.
about it.
Yeah, you know a lot about
I
Can you
insurance.
send us an email of a rewrite
Not a
that we
problem.
can blow through
Yeah,
charters and
sure.
stuff? That'd be
Absolutely.
great.
What I'll do
That's
too
a
is
whole-
I will ask that.
As a matter of fact, I've been working with a carrier, Plymouth Rock. I can loop him in on it as well.
Okay. We're gonna I'm gonna ask the council to table that for tonight, because the spirit of what we're trying to do is we don't, not up against Airbnb.
No.
We wanna make sure it's done. to
No, I
protect-
understand what you're trying to do, which is why I'm not going after the permits and whatnot, the additional fees
So
that you
let's-
guys are
let's-
trying to collect.
let's work
But
with
what I
you.
just wanted to make the board aware of is that the limits that you're requesting make it darn near impossible for Airbnb to be a host with what you're requiring. And if a standalone, I'm conservative. I'm all about saving money at the end of the day. And I can get where you want to charge the fees and the permits and things like that and regulate it that way. I totally understand that. But what I'm saying is the limits of liability is just impossible. So what you're requiring is it's not going to be.
That's not the intent of the,
Yeah.
that was not the intent of the.
No, I realize that, so I just figured I'd bring it to your
Okay,
attention.
so,
I appreciate it.
so will you work with us to make sure
Yeah,
that we don't?
absolutely. You know where I'm
We
at.
wanna make sure this enterprise is okay.
Mhm.
I've been contacted by the Airbnb Corporation,
Right,
and they don't have a problem with our ordinance.
Right.
And it's strange that they didn't mention that.
they
to
didn't
me.
mention it.
Yeah.
They don't mention it to the Airbnb host either.
Wow,
Yeah. Their policies are very limited.
yeah, so we didn't do this in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Okay, there were, Airbnb company was involved, so if you'll work with us, we'll make that so
Did
it
you have a
is.
question, guy in the pink shirt?
Excuse me?
I thought I heard
No,
something,
excuse me.
cross conversation.
Did you say guy in the pink?
Yeah, I don't know
It's right there.
Oh, right,
No, I don't have one.
you sure? I thought I heard some cross conversation.
So,
How do you know we weren't talking about the Giants?
I don't know, that's why I'm
So
asking you if you
I
had a question.
I have no question.
Oh, okay.
all right, so,
Wanna make sure you got all the information.
Guy in the pink shirt.
Yeah, I mean, it is pink in my, I
Yeah,
don't have
it
my
is.
glasses on.
Yes.
so Q, will you work with us so we can make that?
I absolutely will.
So
Absolutely.
thank you very much.
That's it.
Thank you for
Thank
bringing that
you.
to attention.
Thank you.
More public?
Hi, Jennifer Johnson, Hopatcong. Congratulations, Brad.
Congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I look forward to working with you guys. I just had a question. Bob McBriar was here the last two meetings that we had, October and September 18th. He was gonna get back to me with a piece of information on the maximum setbacks for the sewers, and I've been waiting since September 18th for that answer.
I don't know the question.
what is the maximum setback on a sewer?
I don't know what that means.
Okay, at the beginning of September, I was up here and I talked about, you told me that there's sewer across the street from me was impossible because of the
No.
maximum, yeah.
I definitely did not say that. I said that the sewer that you referred to was exempted because the borough engineer determined to recommend a waiver. And I remember that there was discussion about how far it was from the road, but I never said it was impossible.
You said that there was a maximum, it exceeded the maximum setback for the sewer and the grinder. I can look it up. It was the beginning of the first September meeting. And Bob was here, Mr. McBride was here at the second meeting in September and the first meeting in October. He said in September he would get me that information.
I'm not familiar with the district that you're referencing. I think that the engineer has the ability to recommend a waiver where the conditions are too difficult to construct the sewer system. But I'm not aware of any specific district.
Okay, because we asked for a waiver, we offered a waiver or at the very beginning of all this, we requested information exempting that property from the sewer. And we were told that it did not exist.
No, historically, there's been a setback of 300 feet that was in the sanitary code, and I don't believe our ordinance has a specific. But there was a setback, I believe, when the sewer was started, it was in the sanitary code, and if you exceeded more than 300 feet,
You would be exempted. Okay. Okay. That's fine, but there's a house, 3 houses down that's more than 300 feet setback, and they have a grinder pump and a sewer, so why weren't they waived as well?
well, it's not, I don't know the specific circumstances. They may have had a failing septic system, and they may have wanted to connect, because it would be more economical. I don't know.
Right.
Don't know the
That makes sense.
But that is the provision, and it is that, provided that your septic system is not failing, you're exempt from that district. But if you do have a failing septic system,
So what happens now if their septic system fails now?
if their septic system, if it fails, they should be approaching the health department to either get that waiver or connect you to a sewer.
They would have to apply for a waiver.
Yeah, they would have to, because if their septic system is failing, it has to be re-permitted. And that's the first thing, and the health department would right away, is there sewer availability within a practical distance?
I got you. Okay, thank you. And are we getting the sewer rate study today?
It's on the webpage.
That's the 14-page one. Isn't there like a 100-page
No,
report?
it's a full one, up on site.
Up on this, it's only 14 pages.
That's it.
Oh, it's only 26 pages.
26.
Within the original 100 and something pages, we were told 114 pages.
That was for the committee. That was the information for the committee.
Oh, I see. So this is the full report, is that?
This is the full final published report.
Okay, so
26
Mr.
pages.
Rush's here for us to ask questions.
Not today. At the public hearing.
Oh, no, well,
Yeah.
the auditor to ask questions, then maybe?
He's going to be here at the meeting with the
Got it.
public.
Thank you.
More public? One?
Move to bring it back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're back.